Okay guys, so now we're gonna learn 7.1. So we're gonna start chapter 7 now. Okay, so yeah, dividing and multiplying monomials. So if you know what monomials means, if you remember, you should. Mono means one, meals means term, so it's one term polynomial. Okay, so it's 5x, that's a monomial, 2x, that's a monomial. So let's talk about how to solve this. Now, first of all, they want you to use a model. I hate using models, so we are going to just dive into the easy way first, and then we're going to come back to this model way, okay? So 2x times 5x, use algebra first. Let's use algebra first because that's way easier. 5x times 2x. Why do we include the bracket here? Why do we have brackets? Because we just want the brackets to actually group up the monomials itself, okay? But yeah, we can just leave it there. Can we just take off the bracket? It means the same thing? Yes, exactly, okay? Dot means multiply. Don't even ask now, okay? So in this case, we basically find out what's the constant term and what's the unknown term, the variables. And then we time up the constant, or not time up the constant, sorry, time up the coefficient, which is 5 and 2. And we time up the x's. X times x equals to x squared. So the final answer should be 10x squared. Okay, easy. So x and x turns to x squared, and 5 and 2 turns to 10. So basically that's the answer. And if we want to use tiles to do it, use a model. So this is what we do. Okay, this is something new that you have to learn, and you have to recognize how to use a tile to do it. Because on the pad, there's no pad anymore, sorry, but they're on the final exam, on the whatever, they will ask you to use tiles a lot of times. So you're gonna have to draw this kind of a chart first of all. And here, this is one factor, this is one factor. Okay, so the first monomial, you put it here, you draw it here, 5x, and the second monomial, you draw it here, 2x. So if you remember the tiles, here are the index, and on the chapter 5 live exam, I can see most of you are really fluent with this kind of algebra tile, so we're just going to jump right into it. 5x you put on top, there are 5x, so 5 of the rectangles. Always draw the rectangles flat like this. Flat. Don't draw vertical. You will see why. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you will notice that I'm making a mistake here. Hopefully you can realize that. Some people will realize that. What is that? I didn't really solid it. So because it's positive 5x, this is a tedious process here. Okay, so and 2x, same idea. You just want to draw two black or solid filled rectangles. Okay, if you can understand that, then you have to summarize this and that to get your result. So what will that be? Okay, do you see that this little rectangle times this rectangle, what do we have now? We have a big square. You see that? Okay, so because this is black, this must be black. So it's like positive times positive will give you a positive. Okay, and then same idea here. If you combine this rectangle and this rectangle, you will have a large black filled square. Okay, same idea. So, and then same idea here, you will get the same stuff. Same idea here, you will get the same stuff. The same idea here, you will get the same stuff. Okay, and then here, for this little rectangle here and the second rectangle on our left side, you will see there is a big square formed as well. Big square black, big square black, big square black, big square black, which means that that's our final answer of the multiplication. That's the product of 5x and 2x. Okay, so it's how many squares are there? 10, and they are black squares. So each of them represent a positive x squared. That's the final answer. Okay, if you don't understand it, you can just go back and rewatch it multiple times. Okay, next example. Use a model to do it. Now, here, 3x times 2y. So this is a monomial timed together. Okay, so how do we do that? Because these are not the same variable, you can just assume, okay, x represent a rectangle. We can do that. We always know that x represents a rectangle, but y is not a rectangle. If it's a rectangle, it would be the same as x. It's confusing to see that. For me, I will just treat it as a oval shaped. Okay, that's a positive y. How about that? And then we basically do the same thing. Draw the chart. And then top we put 3x, and then on the top you can put 2y, and here you put 3x too. But you can switch them around. It doesn't matter. So the order doesn't matter, okay? 2y times 3x equals to 3x times 2y. So order doesn't matter in multiplication. Okay, so 3x, I basically want this, I want this, and want this. Am I done? Am I done? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Yes, I'm wrong. I have to fill this because it's a positive 3x. And what if we have a negative? We'll talk about negative cases later on, okay? So 2y. Y is an oval shaped. So it's like that. Am I right? No, I'm not. I have to fill it in because it's positive. Okay, let's combine them. You have different shapes now. You cannot actually combine them to a whatever weird shape that is, right? There's no way we can combine that. So basically, we just combine them together. So you have a rectangle and an oval shape. That basically represents an xy. Okay, x times y. So and here you basically have same thing. Same thing. Same thing. But I have to fill them all. Okay, fill them all. So how many groups of xy's do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 groups of xy, so 6xy. It's my final answer. It's just really messy this way. I have to clear this off. Okay, so 3x times 2y gives you 6xy using the model. Using algebra, same thing. Using algebra is actually easier for you guys, I think. 3x times 2y. You basically time the coefficient together. 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. Don't tell me it's 5. Okay, don't tell me it's 5. It's 6 because you time them. And then you want x and y timed together. You cannot get x squared or y squared, okay, because they're different variables. So just xy. So the final answer, boom. Okay, is the same as model? Yes. Great. Next. Okay, applying monomial multiplication. So, area of this little rectangle here, length times width. Okay, so the two dimensions time up together. So 4.3x, that's an expression of the length here. So normally by convention, to make it easier for us to see, we group them up by bracket to see it as a cluster, okay? But it doesn't really matter whether you put it or not. And then you have another dimension here, which is 2x. All right. Same idea here. You don't have to actually draw the model for 4.3. There's no like 0.3 rectangles there. So just calculate it straight. The coefficient, you should time them up together, which is 4.3 times 2. This is totally a mental math question. Do not pull out your calculator, okay? 2 times 4 gives you 8. At the point, 2 times 3 gives you 6, 8.6. And then you have the x and the x, so it gives you x squared, because x times x times x times x, because this nothing here, or a dot here, or, you know, a cross here, that means multiply. Okay, yeah, so basically we're done with this question. Dividing, ooh, exciting. Okay, so dividing, first of all, we're not using a model first. We're going to go back to it, okay? So we're going to do algebra first. Algebra first. So in multiplication, we multiply the coefficient, multiply the variables. But here we divide the coefficient, divide the variable. Same thing, okay? You're all smart enough, way smarter than this. So negative 10 divided by 2 first. So we do with the coefficient, right? So it gives you negative 5, right? It gives you negative 5. And also x squared over x, which gives you Some people might not realize that, but this is x is basically x to the power 1. So 2 minus 1 equals to 1. So it's basically 2x times together divided by 1x. You have 1x left. Okay, so the final answer is this. Hopefully you can realize that. If you actually want a detailed explanation, it's basically this, and combine with x squared and x. So this will be a -5, this will be an x. Okay? So, use a model. That's fun. But before we jump into the dividing model, I want you to try out this one here. Because you're adding a negative here, so I want to clear off the negative concept in your head first. So, what if I have -2x times x here? Or, let's say 3x. Or, let's say 3. Sorry for the changing. I kind of like teaching on the spot, even though I'm videotaping. So -2x is like that. Okay, do I have to fill it? I don't have to fill it. I want 3 little boxes here for the constant 3. So basically, I have to fill the box because it's +3. All right, and how do I combine the terms? How do I find the product here? So you combine the top and the left. Okay, so it's a multiplication relationship there. So you combine it. Here's a rectangle, and here is a constant. All right, and then what do you have here? You're still having a rectangle here. See that? You're still having a rectangle here, but however, is it positive or negative? Think about it. This is a positive here, this is a negative here. Timed up should be a negative, so should I fill the box? I should not fill the box. Leave it blank. Okay, same idea for this, because this little black box here and this white rectangle will give you a white rectangle. Same idea for all of them. So in the end, in the final answer, you will get -6 of the white rectangles, which is x. Okay, so this is how you deal with negative or positive signs, the colors of the boxes. You have to actually figure out positive, negatives when they multiply together. So that's done. So let's dive into this. Okay, so you still draw this, but where you put everything is a little bit different. Okay, so -10x squared divided by 2x. All right, so normally we put something here. We put a here, b here, and c. So, and the relationship we have is always a times b equals to c. Do you agree with that? If you don't agree with that, you can actually always replay this part, okay? And then you can always say that a equals to c over b. And you can always say that b equals to c over a. Okay, because because a is always the big one. A is always the big one, and a and b multiply together to give c. So c is always inside the box here. All right, so it's on top of the equation. If you put in the triangle, a, b, c, that's the relationship. Okay, so in this case here, on top would be b minus c minus b, or c minus a. C divided by b divided by a to get a or b. So this -10x squared, I want you to take a moment and think about it. This -10x squared, where should we put it? A, b, or c part? And I hopefully you can realize that we should put it here, inside the box here. Ooh, where's the eraser? Inside the box here, because you are dividing it. You're not multiplying it now. Okay, and 2x, it can be either a or b. You can put anywhere you want. I'm just gonna choose a, and you can choose anywhere you want, I said before. Okay, now we want b now, because we want to know what is minus 10x squared divided by 2x. Okay, so let's draw minus 10x. Oh, actually, let's draw 2x first. 2x. Why do we want to draw 2x first? You will know in a second. Because you want to line everything up. You have to actually design the model a little bit. For dividing here is really, I really don't like the model method, but you do have to learn it. So this is 2x, positive ones, okay? You want everything to line up here, because you want everything to line up, and you finally want to deduct out what's on the b side, okay? So that's why I kind of want to do the 2x first. So 2x is done, and now we are drawing negative 10x squared. X squared is basically a big box, and then negative is white, okay, and we need 10 of them. Okay, so question, I will line up like this. Do I continue here or do I continue here? The answer is that you cannot continue here because you have, like I said before, you have to line up everything. There's nothing here, okay? There's nothing here to line up with. You cannot deduct anything here. So basically, I have to line up 1 on 1. So I need 2 rows or 2 columns. Then I need 10 of the boxes. Oh, I need more space here. If I need 10 of the boxes, I have to draw 5 on each column. Okay. All right. So on that side, I want to find out the B part, or I want to find out where is this. So what will be combined with a rectangle to give you a box? And you should realize that is actually a rectangle that will give you that. Okay, a rectangle plus a rectangle will actually give you a box. Then is this rectangle black or white? So think about it. This is positive, this is negative. So this must be negative in order to achieve a product that's negative, right? Okay, if you can realize that, that will be awesome. So that's my first little box or rectangle I have to draw. And this rectangle, the green rectangle I drew, will combine with this guy here. Okay, and to give you the big box here. So which makes sense. All right, so the second one is still like this, is still like this, is still like this. Same idea, okay? Same exact idea. And let's test it out. And if you combine this rectangle here all the way down here and this rectangle all the way down here, it should be a big white square. So it makes sense, everything. Okay, so I know it's a little bit confusing. It's just that you have to listen to the video more maybe, and then because when multiplying we write down this part and this part, we found out what this is, but this is dividing here, so we know what this part and this part is. We find out what this part is. We're going backwards. Okay, hopefully you realize that. All right, so what's the final answer? 1 2 3 4 5, and it's negative 5x should be. Or do we get the same thing? Yes. Oopsie. 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 Okay, same thing here. I know my notes are a little bit messier than Mr. Domain's. I know my students are getting used to it, but like, yeah. Okay. Next one. This is a fun one too because it involves a y. Let's just not use the confusing, tedious, useless model. Let's use algebra first. So again, you look at the coefficients 8 and 4. They give you, if we divide 8 and 4, it gives you a 2. Oopsie. It gives you a 2. And then if you divide x and x, it give you 1. 1 we can just ignore the 1, or we can just cancel up and down to make it like just nothing, okay? Because 1 is nothing and y. So basically you have 2y as the answer. All right. Let's use the model. Okay, so it's another C divided by B or C divided by A equals to B kind of scenario. So if you are dividing, you have to fill in the inside. The inside is always the top number, the big top number, which is this. And then 4x you put on top. You can put 4x on the side too, okay? It doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. It's just changing orientation. That's it. So let's draw it out. 8xy. So you have 8xy. What do you draw 8xy first or 4x first? Like I did in the previous example, I always draw here first. First to draw because you want to know how much column are there, okay? For us to draw 8xy. So 4x, 4x, 4x. So 4 of the rectangles, x. Am I doing it right? I'm not doing it right because I have to fill it. Because it's positive 4x. Now, for 8xy, okay, so that means you have 4 columns to organize our 8xy, okay? xy, like I said before, x you can represent it by rectangle, y you can represent it by oval shape or star shape, who cares, okay? I'm just going to do oval shape. Eclipse. That's not eclipse. Yeah. Elliptical. Yes, that's the word for it. Okay, so anyway, so 8xy, 1xy looks like this. Do we want to put white or black? We want to put black because it's positive 8xy. Okay, I'm going to use my copy paste or that kind of a function there to be lazy. Wait. Paste. There we go. Paste. There we go. Paste. There we go. How many do we have now? We have 4 now, and then I'm going to duplicate another 4 because we want to have 8xy. Okay? Doom. Awesome. That's really neat when you copy paste because everything looks the same. Okay, so that's 8xy, perfectly done. Now we want to figure out what's this side. What are the two that's combined with this to get that? And if you want, you can pause a moment to actually think about yourself. But if you don't want to, you just can continue watching, okay? So comparing this with this, what's missing? An oval shape is missing. Okay? Oval shape is missing. Because an oval shape, black, combined with that will give you a rectangle and an oval. That's it. So what's the final answer to y? Done. Okay, it's easier as it's than it seems once you actually get it. Okay, that's done. Okay, word problem. The area of a right triangle is given by the expression that. So the area is given. So area is equal to 18x squared. Base of rectangle is that. So base is 4x. Okay, so base times height divided by 2 gives you area. All right, so they rewrite the equation for you already. It's kind of spoiling you guys, but I have to actually tell you how to rearrange the equations because that's going to be a helpful skill how you're going to use most often in high school. Okay, so area equals the base times height divided by 2. Now I want to know height. Okay, height is what they're asking me for. So if I want to know height, h is what I want to isolate. I want to finally achieve h equals to something. So you want to throw this 2 over to the a side first. When you throw this little baggage over, you change the sign. That's what I told my 9a and 9c kids. But you can also think about it as your old way, like you want to get rid of divided by 2, so you times 2 times 2. Okay, so it's 2a and b times h. Cancel. But like I said before, you can always think about it like dividing 2, but you throw it to the river, to the other side of the river, you change sign to multiply 2. Okay, and here I still want to isolate h, so if I want to throw this times b to the other side of the river, times b to the other side of the river, I change it to divided by b. So 2a divided by b equals to h. Okay, so my formula here, h will equal to 2a divided by b. So if 2a divided by b is my formula, then I plug in the equation. My area is 18, so 2 times, I'm just carrying over the 2, times a is substitute a by 18x squared, divided by b, substitute b by 4x. All right. Okay, solve it. Now, we deal with the coefficient numbers first. So 2 times 18 will actually give you 36. 36 over 4 will give you 9. Okay, will give you a 9. So the number is 9 for a coefficient. X squared over x will give you 1x because it's x squared divided by x. So 2x times together divided by 1x give you 1x. All right, so the height of the triangle should be 9x. Okay, so, oh, done. Perfect. If you want to replay this video and there's any concept you don't understand, just replay anytime you want. Homework will be this. Okay, there's no way we can check your homework, but you do have to understand this to actually do the exams. So please do the homework. And these are some skills that you're going to use in high school too. So don't cheat yourself. Okay. All right. I'm going to end